Wow, that was fun. Football. Welcome to the football of football from football.com. A lot of football to talk. This is the Pride of Detroit PODcast. Prideofdetroit.com. Pride of Detroit on Twitter. Pride of Detroit on Facebook. Pride of Detroit on football. And that is the theme of today's PODcast is all football all the time. We love football. The divisional round this year, I'm not knee-jerking. I'm not a goldfish. I am a goldfish in memory. But I went back, Jeremy, I checked the tape. I did the math. I did the homework. I did it a few more times. I went through remedial classes, and I am now ready to say that I, Chris Perfett, your adequate host, at Chris Perfett on Twitter, to you, Jeremy Reisman, the fearless leader, at Detroit on Lion. That was the greatest weekend of football I have ever seen, and it would only have been better if the Lions were included. But we'll put that aside. Greatest weekend of football ever, period.
Yeah, it's hard to argue just on the pure fact that all four games had walk-offs, which is insane. I mean, I predicted on First Bite that all four games would be decided in the final 5 minutes and would be a one-score game. I did not imagine anything like that. And then to put on top of the amazing finishes in all four games, I think Lions fans, for the most part, got pretty much every outcome they could have desired.
Everything they wanted except for the Lions in the playoffs itself.
Yeah,
but I think for
a higher draft pick, but
a higher draft pick, but still, whatever. We'll get into that. So we are going to talk about our beautiful son, Matthew Stafford. His sun rises entirely. We're going to talk about playoff rules because we, as Detroit Lions fans, are very well capable of discussing that.
Terrified but we're going of the rule book. We have to talk about the rule book because we know at some point it's going to come for us.
Oh, sure. It always does. But we will start in a second with the big story, which is the fate of this division and some beautiful schadenfreude. But I think I got to go to our third man to kick the schadenfreude off. The man who knows the meaning of schadenfreude and teaches it to his kids every day, Ryan Matthews, the rock god, at Ryan_POD, the third man, the Shawn Michaels of PODcast. Hello, Ryan.
Hello, Chris. You're on your game, man. This is really good. This is way better than adequate.
I stayed up way too late last night.
Playoff, Chris Perfett.
Playoffs. I'm all charged up, man.
Oh man, you know what? So we'll get into it a little bit, but Jeremy, I think you and I picked the best game to go eat ramen. Like it was a good game to like just have on a phone in the background. Yeah, you're gonna get jealous about this, Chris, because I haven't had ramen out in Cali, but like I want, maybe we can get in this in between segments, but like sure. I need to hear Jeremy's ratings.
Yeah, Ryan and I had a dinner date on Saturday night to watch some football.
Damn it! I am so lonely out here. God damn it.
But yeah, you're right. Like we just watched the Bills
Bengals Titans.
The Bengals Titans game on our phones in a very interesting ramen spot in Novi, which actually was really good. But
Novi, really?
Yeah.
I thought you went out to the place in Ann Arbor.
But no. But Ryan was right. Like that was the low light of the weekend, and it wasn't a bad game either. Like it was an entertaining game, and like the very ending of that game, it seemed like the Titans were about to win that football game, and then the Bengals did. So that's really all we have to say, I think, about that game. I'm ready to. Let's bury.
Let's go right in. Let's do 3 letters off the top. Look, come on, FTP. Fuck the Packers. It's not internet protocol. It means F the Packers.
I mean, you're just quoting Jimmy Garoppolo at this point.
Woo! Yeah. No. Hold up. I got to do the full quote because Gold comes in. He's like, that felt good. Because I chopped this up for use on the radio, and it was bleep the Packers, bleep the legend.
Oh, man. Throw Rogan.
Yeah, let's get out of here. Get out of Lambeau. Throw Rogan, Bright. What was the one I liked? Oh, Breitbart Star. That was, Jeremy, I don't want to lead with Twitter, but I feel like that was the night. Everyone had fun dunking that night.
Twitter was the place to be, man. That felt like the equivalent of like being in the streets of East Lansing, like lighting stuff on fire.
That I've seen Twitter blow up sometimes during sporting events, but that was the inevitable result of this, right? Like you just had an entire season where Aaron Rodgers played the heel. He played the Oh, I'm much smarter than you. Oh, I'm just trolling you. I'm playing mind games with you. Can you feel it? Oh, you saw a book that you didn't like on my thing. I'm just trolling you. He went full NW. Ryan will appreciate it. He went full NWO. He put on the black leotard and everything. And he was the Hulk Hogan turned heel. And guess what? When you turn heel that hard, everyone's going to dance on your grave when you finally fall.
It was poetic, because how did this season start? It started with him posting a graphic of Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen as the last dance. Yeah. And so the evolution of Aaron Rodgers over the course of the season has been like, he doesn't think he's a heel though. Like, he thinks he's a good guy. He thinks he's the guy that's being silenced when he's on a 28-minute phone call conversation with ESPN. Like, but it's so obvious that he's the bad guy, and watching the bad guy fail in an instance where the Packers neither gave up an offensive or defensive touchdown.
That's a math problem in itself.
It was beautiful. It was probably the most, I mean, don't get me wrong, Sunday's slate of games were incredible, but like, there wasn't anything better than seeing that fallout and everybody taking to Twitter and just lapping up the tears of Green Bay Packers fans.
Ryan, I'm not a basketball guy, but I know The Last Dance was about Michael Jordan. How many championships did he win with the Bulls?
5 more than Aaron Rodgers.
Okay. Because I was gonna say Aaron Rodgers has one. He has one Super Bowl appearance, and he just got bounced in the first game he played in the postseason, and it was kind of his fault. Like, I know everyone is going to point fingers all the time at special teams in that game, because obviously they get a field goal block, they get a punt block, the punt block goes for a touchdown, the only touchdown for the 49ers. But what did Aaron Rodgers do in that football game outside of the first drive?
I was looking this up, and I'm glad you asked that, Jeremy, because the Packers only had 2 drives with more than 6 plays. They had two drives more than 6 plays. That touchdown drive to start the game, and then I believe the other one was the 14-play drive in the third quarter that ends up in a field goal. So they even spent all that time. But I'm going through the game log. 5 plays, fumble, 3 and out, 6 plays, punt, 6 plays, end of the half, 3 and out, field goal, 3 plays, blocked punt, touchdown, which tied San Francisco. That was the tie for San Francisco. 3 and out. Their final possession. 3 and out.
Yeah, just punt. 3 and outs all over the place. And one of the most viral clips coming out of Green Bay after that game is the last third down, where he just threw a Hail Mary ball essentially into double coverage. There was a wide open guy cutting over the middle of the field that would have gone for at least 30, 40 yards. Probably would have won them that football game. Aaron Rodgers was spooked. He was seeing ghosts. He was awful. And if that's the last game he plays in Green Bay, it's a perfect ending to the story.
How many times have we seen Packers fans, like, or even NFL people in general, like, take to Twitter and be like, Aaron Rodgers missed this throw? Like, rarely.
Yeah, doesn't happen.
Like, I mean, not in the sense of like I think it was Alan Lazard who was cutting over the middle of the field, like, wide open, and it would have been a first down and more. But like you said, Jeremy, like, he just put too much trust in Devontae Adams, and man, I know it's not the Lions in the playoffs, but like, it's nearly as good. It's nearly as good to see this happen, because I mean, looking at what Jimmy Garoppolo did, like, Chris, if you can pull up what Jimmy Garoppolo did in this game,
okay,
and you were to show me those stats, I would have said San Francisco stands 0 chance in this game.
Yeah, Jimmy Garoppolo was 11 for 19, 131 yards, average 6.9 yards per reception,
nice.
0 touchdowns, 1 interception, an 11.9 QBR versus Aaron Rodgers, 20 for 29, 220. I'm sorry. So with the sacks, this is the key here. He took 9 sacks combined in this game. Net yards for Garoppolo was like 106 and for Aaron Rodgers, net yards, 196. QBR of 19.4, whatever. But like, anyway, averaging more than Jimmy Garoppolo by about 0.9 yard.
We all watched Lions games this season. That Jimmy Garoppolo game would have been like one of the top 3 worst games of Jared Goff this season. Mm-hmm. Like, it was bad. Yeah. It was terrible. And they won.
And
they won.
They beat the number 1 seed. All the talk going into this weekend was, oh, the Tennessee Titans are the weakest 1 seed in the history of the NFL playoffs. And then the Packers get taken to task by the 49ers.
I mean, like, the 49ers do these games, right? They love dragging teams down into the mud. But, again, for Aaron Rodgers, and this is where we transition what happens next. If you had told me before the season Aaron Rodgers was going to burn all of his goodwill to the point where everyone's dancing on his grave at the end of this game, and that nobody's sympathetic, and now the lie is off, and now everyone is saying, hey, this team has wasted more time with Aaron Rodgers than, like, I don't know, Peyton Manning with the Colts or something. Like, that kind of just waste of, you guys have not gone as far to any Super Bowls, like, in forever. And now it might be all over. I'm not ready to say it's all over completely, but this is the point that will swing the NFC North, because I believe after the game, Rodgers was kind of, he was moping around, doing the thing that Rodgers does every time he loses this game. So he's going to take time to think it over. He talks about the free agents that they're going to have to sign to bring back, be it Devontae Adams or Alan Lazard. And he then goes on and says that he doesn't want to be part of a rebuilding team. Now, I know you have your own interpretation, Ryan and Jeremy. I don't see that as a slight as like he's saying that the Packers are going to rebuild necessarily, but he's basically trying to tell other suitors, like, you better have everything in place if you want me to go there. But it's also a message to the Packers like, hey, try to re-sign some of these guys. We're going to be right back to where we were before the season. So it's an interesting Palace play, but it does put up the question of what's going to happen to Green Bay, because if Green Bay loses Aaron Rodgers, suddenly the whole division's in chaos at this point. Yeah. Like, the Bears count as rebuilding, probably. Like, I don't know. I don't think their defense is going to last much longer. Vikings definitely rebuilding, and the Lions on their way through rebuilding? Question mark. What happens to the Packers? I don't know.
Well, so I want to throw this to Jeremy after I just point out that, a lot of people made it very clear on Saturday night that the Packers are heading into this offseason like $45 million over the cap.
Yes.
Like,
that's the big thing.
They are so hamstrung when it comes to their payroll for their players. Like, Jeremy, Aaron Rodgers says that. Does that make it seem like, I mean, is that even a play that the Packers front office can make?
I mean, that's the question, right? Because Aaron Rodgers, when he said that he knows this. He knows that the Packers are in salary cap hell. He knows all these. I mean, he listed off 6 guys that were free agents. He knows, like, he's been paying attention to that stuff. He knows. So when he says, I don't want to be a part of the rebuild, that's him telling Brian Gutekunst, their GM, say, like, make it work or I'm gone. Like, that's what I word. That's what I hear. Make it work or I'm gone. And I don't like. Here's the thing. The Packers are in a situation with their franchise, with the goodwill that they generally have. They're viewed as a very good organization. People like playing over there in general, where you might be able to get some guys to take pay cuts. You stick out the goodwill jar and say, hey, we're creating a rainy day fund for Aaron Rodgers, essentially. But can you raise 45, 50 million? I don't know, man. Like, that seems kind of crazy. And I think the bigger question is, if you're Gutekunst, I know you're saying publicly, like, you want Rodgers back, but how long do you want to keep this going? How long do you want to keep this group together and try to get Aaron Rodgers to lead you to a Super Bowl when he's been to one? He's been to one in 15, 16, whatever years. Is it time to kind of turn the page? And what I find really interesting about this whole thing is that Packers fans are on board. They're ready. I think they're sick of Aaron Rodgers shit. Like, the Packers offseason was crazy. It was, I'm sick of Aaron Rodgers' bull crap. Will he just get off the pot or stay or whatever? He stays, and they're suddenly like, Aaron Rodgers, my boy, is staying. And then after all the COVID stuff, after playing horribly in the divisional round and losing, they're like, see ya. I'm ready to see what Jordan Love's got. Like, they're already shipping him gone. And to me, that's a little bit more telling than it was last offseason. I think I think we might be done. I think we might be done with Aaron Rodgers. I don't want to put my foot in my mouth and 2 months later. The other important part is he said he's going to decide before free agency, so we've got less than 2 months to figure that out.
I think it's like Packers fans have always been very temperamental and short-tempered, and I remember when what was the JS Comments account was still around on Twitter, and like you would just see it every year. As soon as they lose one game, suddenly the knives would be out, so it's not surprising there.
But no, I think it's much more of a consensus now. That's what
but I think that's
cooler heads that normally prevail are saying, I think this is the time that we have to hit that fork in the road and go in the other direction.
Because two things. One, he's been a dick all season. That's part of it.
Yep.
And like even your own home crowd, you're going to lose people when you play the heel if you don't completely differ. Two, as we've been pointing out, this was not a good game for Aaron Rodgers. And they had the first round bye. Like, what? Like you had the week to rest. You had played this game. Everyone was sitting their ass off in Lambeau, freezing to death in a stadium which has, for a team that continues to build itself around great quarterback play, but then insists on that great quarterback play having to sit there freezing to death in upper Wisconsin. It doesn't work out well together. It doesn't. And I don't want to hear about it from the, I love winter football crowd. Guess what? If you love winter football, don't build your team around a quarterback needing to get the ball downfield, because that ball is hard as hell and it is cold. And the 49ers figured out the best way to beat that kind of quarterback is to make him sit there and be cold for 25 minutes at a time while you grind out long ass possessions. He's not in rhythm at that point. He's not in tempo. He's going 3 and out. You've got him where you need it. At that point, you just make a play. And the 49ers made those plays at the end of the game, beating the worst special teams in the league. I know Jeremy's like special teams don't matter, but in this case, it absolutely did. For the 49ers. And now, I think that you're right. Fan-wise, they might be done, because I think fan-wise, they're looking at the value they could get back of moving away from Rodgers. But the problem is that Love's not that future either.
No, but I mean, moving Rodgers also kind of gets him at least a little bit out of that salary cap hell, right?
Sure.
It moves.
Salary cap is kind of. I mean, it's salary cap. It's whatever. It can be, as we've seen with the Saints, you can like kick things down the road in almost perpetuity. But in this case, I think you're right in that they've got too many guys where the butcher's bill is due. Brian,
I'm just. I'm reveling in this because the only thing that history would warn us of is that Aaron Rodgers might end up with the Vikings.
No,
but they're over the cap too.
Stop it.
They don't have a lot of cap.
No, he's joking. He's doing a Brett Favre joke.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Here's the thing.
I'm sorry.
To build off of Chris's point, though, definitely don't build a team surrounded by a quarterback in the snow, especially if that's a Cali boy quarterback like Aaron Rodgers was.
By the way, isn't this funny that if we are considering how does they keep losing to San Francisco, the team that he wanted to go play for?
It's because of that clip during the draft
where he says, "I'm gonna make them pay," or "I'm gonna."
Yeah, where he's like, "I'm gonna make them regret that they didn't take me first overall instead of Alex Smith."
Is he? I think my favorite thing out of this.
Where does he go though?
But that's the question, and I don't know what keeps him outside of Green Bay. Like, okay, so we've known the Broncos have that room, right? And I think the question is, I think everyone's pointing to the Steelers as a popular destination too. Problem with the Steelers is I'm pretty sure they still have another 10 million on the books for Ben Roethlisberger, even though he retired, because of how that contract worked out. But they have, I think, 35 million in cap space, so they could make it work. So I would say like Broncos and Steelers are definitely. And I mean, if he wants to go to the Broncos, that feels like the destination, because now that Vic Fangio's out the door, you could almost try to figure out what he wants as far as a coach.
You know what's awesome about Aaron Rodgers going to the AFC though is that he will just get absolutely dummied by Mahomes and Allen and Herbert, and Burrow.
Dude, how that butcher's row of quarterbacks in the AFC is just psychotic.
That would be the best way to put Aaron Rodgers' career out to pasture, is just send him over to the AFC and let all the young guns just outduel him.
Right? It's perfect. Like, here's the thing about this conversation. I don't care where he goes. As long as he's in the AFC, I don't care. And I know if he does go to Denver, oh no, the Lions don't play Denver. For some reason, I thought they played Denver. They don't play Denver next year, so screw it. Sure, go to Denver. Go to anywhere in the AFC. I don't care. He is. I think he might get overshadowed. I know the guy's an MVP. Like he's going to win the MVP this year, which makes it all the more delicious that he got bounced in the first round.
Oh God, that's a bitter MVP. That's a bitter MVP.
Can I be in the front row when he accepts that reward that he doesn't give a shit about?
Well, we sent you. We sent you to the Senior Bowl. We could probably send you to the NFL awards.
I just want to just this in front of the front row,
just smiling.
Are you excited about this award, buddy?
I want him to go full heel. I want him to go full blaze. WCW Women's Champion, dropping the belt in the trash. I want him to go on the Pat McAfee show and drop the MVP award in the trash, and then say that he's going to the Oakland Raiders or something.
God.
That's a great time for his retirement announcement right there.
Oh my God!
You think if you had to put a percentage on him retiring? What
I said Oakland Raiders, by the way, because I had to think of the worst bad boy team in the league.
So you're thinking 3-year-old Raiders team?
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't think he's going to retire.
You don't think he has a chance of retiring? I don't think he does either. I don't think he's done. I mean,
maybe Tom Brady retires this year. I found it very curious that his comments before and this is where we're going to talk next segment about Rams Bucks, but Brady drops those comments before that he might retire. I don't see Rodgers retiring. I feel like he wants to at least prove somewhere else that he can, keep playing quarterback, but it's not going to be in the NFC North.
I agree with you, Chris. And I think that once he made those comments about being silenced, I was like, this guy, he definitely wants to appear like he's raging against the machine. Like he wants to appear like he's fighting this uphill battle in the snow.
I think he's just trying to seem smart. That's all.
Yeah,
if guys are doing that, they don't actually care about raging against the machine. They just want to make sure they got the spotlight on him.
Yeah,
and that's all it is. He's a diva.
Yeah,
he wants the attention.
No
question. He wants the attention. It's just like when Tom Brady had the "Make America Great Again" hat in his locker in 2016. And then when people called him on, he was like, oh, golly gee willikers, me with that? Why'd you notice that? I didn't even notice that. He did the same thing with Rodgers, did the same thing with that Ayn Rand book on the Manning cast. And then it's like, oh, I've never even read it. Well, you know what? You've got plenty of time in the offseason now. Maybe you should brush up on Fountainhead.
And I mean, he did even one worse too. I mean, obviously with the saying, well, I never said I got the shot. I said I was immunized.
I mean, yeah, everything about him has just been, but again, this is what he's tried to stake himself on, being the heel.
Oh yeah, and he just thinks he's so smart. He thinks he's so smart.
And luckily, we'll never have to deal with him again because the future of the NFC North is bright. Nope, I'm saying it. It's not happening. He's done.
This is wild because Jeremy has been the most cautious of this for ever since I can remember.
Nope.
At least terrified. 3 years.
I'm the one who's terrified right now.
Well, at 3 years running, you have replaced Jeremy then, because for 3 years running now, Jeremy has been like, nope, I don't believe it. And then I think the Last Dance thing finally gave a little room. It opened up the door just a crack. And now it's all the way open and it's off the hinges, apparently.
The only thing going for Rodgers and Green Bay right now is that it does seem like they repaired their front office issues. There was definitely a disconnect there. But what did that all result in? It resulted in them in getting, what's the name of the receiver that didn't caught one freaking pass? Randall Cobb. They shelled out a ton of money for Randall Cobb, who caught 1 or 0 passes on Saturday night, and it's going to cost them a ton of money, and they're going to have to cut him next year.
But
he was $50 million over the cap.
But he was Rodgers' boy. boy, and that's
what happens when you give Aaron Rodgers power over your roster. And now Gutekunst, if he's smart, bon voyage, dude. You're a bad GM. You're a bad playoff quarterback. Get the hell off my team. I need the cap space more than I need you.
you really can't do the LeBron James deal in the NFL. You can't, like, if you're the big team player, you can't go and, like, because it's just so many more pieces that you just can't do the LeBron, I'm also the GM, get my buddies, please.
Yeah, NFL is a league where you become the mercenary, right? Like Tom
Yes.
Brady. Like, I mean, I know he only went to Tampa Bay, but I mean, Jesus.
Well, I mean, he also got Gronk to come with him, but that's a move you make, though.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Before
Anyway,
we move on to the next
Real
segment,
quick.
can we talk a little bit more about, like, the future of the NFC now? Like, if Aaron Rodgers is gone, how open is the window there for the Lions to potentially jump in there as NFC North winners immediately?
I just don't. That's a damn good question, because I don't know how far of a step back the Packers go, because it's going to depend. I mean, if it's with Love, it's a pretty heavy step back, but I don't think it's like straight to the bottom of the division. I'm going to have to see with the Bears. I think they've got a little bit more juice in them, but still, like, if they can't fix that offensive line problem, then they're going to be right back to where they are. If we get, and I think the Lions question hinges on, are we going to get more of this second half play calling that we saw as Ben Johnson and Dan Campbell started to really rework the playbook for Jared Goff? And if Jared Goff continues to be well, and, you know, what they do in this, I'd put those odds at, like, maybe 45% that the Lions are the NFC North champions.
Whew. In year 2 of Dan Campbell, whew, I'm getting sweaty, right?
But it's more about teams going, like, I could totally see the division winner could be, like, I don't know, 9 and 8.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. 100%. I don't think the Packers are going to take necessarily as big of a step back as you think. I mean, their defense is still pretty darn good, and it's the reason why they were even in the game on Saturday night. Like, their defense was fantastic. I think
they're still the favorite for me. They're still the favorite for me.
Yeah, they're probably going to lose to Darius Smith, but they obviously can't add that much. They don't have free agency resources. The draft resources aren't going to be that good either. Bears and Vikings are just complete question marks right now. We don't know their coach. We don't know their GM. But you have to imagine there's at least a mini rebuild going to be happening in both those areas. And I don't know. Justin Fields is going to have to take a pretty big jump for them to, I think, be a competitive team. And defensively, I don't know. And then Vikings, they might have to hit a full rebuild, because
we wanted to hit on this
contract
more, but
is ridiculous.
We wanted to hit on this more, but unfortunately, I think we went long with our Packers, Schadenfreude. So maybe we'll bounce back a little bit more of it, and then when we come back after the break, we'll let Ryan jump in on it after the break, and then
you're gonna postpone my Stafford talk? How dare you?
We're gonna get right into your boy.
My God, you're more unbearable than Dan Orlovsky.
How dare you? Take
We'll
that
be
back.
right, and with that name, we'll be right back on the Pride to Detroit POD cast.